Okay, that's 8 losses in a row. It doesn't feel good, but the nice thing is we got solutions. I bought my two boys, my two pod throwing partners, Bam and Sam. Let's talk basketball.
Talk on. Talk on. Talk on.
So, a lot has been going on the last couple of days. Rumors are spreading. Players seem unhappy. Uh, and the fans are in a civil war. It's just one big happy family. It's so crazy that all of us want the same things. It's just I guess we want it different ways. To talk about this, I bought my partners. Samuel, say hi.
What's going on, everyone? Quite a couple weeks.
Crazy. Bam,
Yo,
we forced you out of retirement. Welcome back, bro.
what's up, fellas? Let's do this.
So, let me start from the top. We've got an 8-game losing streak. But I don't think the Nets are in a tizzy. Like, I was happy to see these refuting the Harden trade leaks to Woj. You know when Woj get it, it's like I was arguing with one of the Nets dweebs on Twitter. They were saying it had to be the front office that leaked that the Nets were willing to do it now. It definitely wasn't the Nets front office that leaked that. And the Nets front office doesn't leak to Shams. Only agents and only agents leak to Shams and players leak to Shams. The person who leaked to Woj was Sean Marks. And if you look at how that was handled and how Steve Nash handled the press pre and post press conference, they're trying to keep the ship tight. Matt, you're the most boisterous of us. Talk to me a little bit about that. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's probably a combination of both things, right? Where Shams isn't making shit up, right? He obviously heard from what he believes is a reputable source that the Nets are open to dealing Harden. The Woj reports, and then obviously what Nash said tonight, are probably from the Nets side, and the truth probably lies somewhere in between. I think that the Nets are willing to listen if they feel like they can get a package that is too good to be true. But either way, we are losing. And I'm as much as we've been talking about this, I really haven't heard what both of you think. And we're hopping on this podcast right now to kind of air that shit out.
Dude, like I don't understand where. So here's the phony thing that goes on with the analysis, and Sam, I want you to address this after I say it. Guys, mute when you're not talking so your atmospherics don't counteract each other. So
That's me. That's me. I'll mute.
all right, no, it's just good to do either way. Um, but nonetheless, um, basketball sports. The nice thing about sports is it's not a soap opera where the story could keep changing and how far it goes depends on the writer's imagination. This is sports. This is not WWE. There's a result, and you understand that result tells you the story. And I don't understand, like Sam, like can you explain this phenomenon? Because, like, just to like protect Kyrie, I've heard, oh, you're talking like people who just became a fan of this team 10 years ago. you're a bandwagon fan. Like, yo, I've raised all my kids on this team. I, it has the place that I was born on my birth certificate on the front of the chest. Like, it's gotten so bad that the fan base treats each other horrible just to protect this dude. How could there be a good ending to this, Sam? Like where does this go from here if this is our culture now?
Yeah, I mean, look, people fanhood I think is just like weird and bizarre because it's also one of these things that can't be measured, and it's like no one's business really. But you know, I tweeted this out earlier today, and it is truly how I feel, and I think it's like the elephant in the room, which is that when the Nets decided in the fall to placate to Kyrie, or I guess in the winter when they finally allowed him to come back as part time, when they placated to Kyrie and or KD, they were basically saying that helping out the superstars and making them feel at home is more important than actually winning. And I just don't think I think it's hard to argue anything around that because I give Matt credit because Matt said in the spaces today, like, the this Kyrie thing is just leading to a domino effect where Harden's pissed right now. The organization is thinking right now, like, holy shit, like, we let this Kyrie thing get out of hand. Now Harden wants to go. Now that Harden's gone, maybe we should cut ties with Harden. Before you know it, it's going to be like, it feels like it's going to be KD alone there. And then it's anyone's guess what's going to happen next, even though he's under contract. Like, it just, look, I've been saying now for a week, this is everything that's going on right now is a culmination of this franchise that was the franchise of culture and had gotten out of the worst trade in NBA history and made itself into a winner, and now it's a complete and utter like circus and shit show. Pardon my language.
Yeah, it's not a disaster. Go ahead, Matt.
It is a disaster.
No, that's the thing about it. It's been a disaster, but it doesn't. The crazy thing about this whole thing, this is what makes the analysis so impossible, is that if we win a championship, none of this matters. And these guys have the capability to win a championship. It's will they get their mind right to do it? That's my question back to you, Ben. Like, how could it be a disaster? Hold on a second. How could it be a disaster if they can still win a championship?
Well, isn't that the conundrum that we're in, right? Like, it feels like everything is going wrong, and it is, and we're in such like a fecal spot here, or a fickle spot here, where if Durant comes back and Harden comes back and the mandates get lifted, we're fine. But clearly, the people inside the organization are not feeling the same way as us.
Listen,
they're worried.
Kyrie is like Trump, not in ideas and politics, but Kyrie is like Trump because once you start becoming a Trump follower, you could have been.
You said this. You said this. I'll let you finish your spot, but you said this so long ago that I actually said this to family members of mine. And I think this is where you're going with it. You said once you start, siding with a guy like Trump, you then open yourself up to the bullshit that comes with a guy like Trump, right? Where, like, even if you're like a normal-minded person, right, and maybe you like Trump's his policy because for your wallet it makes sense, but then you have to defend his blatant racism. Kyrie's the same shit. Like, I did it. Well, what happened in Cleveland? He thought he was doing the right thing. He left before LeBron left. Fine. Then he goes to Boston, and it's like, well, Boston didn't really appreciate him. And now we're in the same spot that these Boston fans are, where we're going to lose somebody that is collateral damage. What the fuck is going on here?
Exactly. it's once you once you listen to a dumb person or you follow a dumb person, every dumb thing he does trickles down to you. Like it's like the saying they with Trump they call it. They say everything Trump touches dies. Once people have to like bend themselves into these weird shapes to appease what Trump does, he makes you sound ridiculous. He makes you sound stupid. And some of these things like that I heard today, one person was like, this is happening because James Harden is a bitch. Look, I'm the only, guy on this pod, and I've been consistent on this, and I've said it over 100 times, easily over 100 times. You guys have been harsh on Harden, and I don't even argue whether it was rightful or not. The reason why I haven't is because I can't get past the fact that this dude lines up and plays. I've seen Kyrie be on both sides of the COVID situation where he's like, we need a vaccine, we need something, this is not safe, I'm not showing up, right? The whole rest of the team showed up except him and I forgot who the other journeyman was that didn't show up. We used to share weed, man. What's the dude's name, Sam? Help me with this one.
Which I didn't hear the initial part. Oh, I don't even.
DeAndre Jordan, Wilson Chandler, but it was also DeAndre.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan, but I think DeAndre Jordan did that because he knew he was on the outs, but he came back the next year, so that
also
can't be
no
right.
one cared.
Yeah, that too, but he's been on both sides of this argument, and every time, like, I'm listening to dudes like in all the different net spaces, I'm listening to dudes try to justify this shit, and it makes them have to say stupid shit like James Harden is a bitch. James Harden doesn't play defense. James Harden has never played defense, and he's a 2-time MVP. What are we talking about? How can you twist yourself into origami shapes when the obvious thing is right there? If this dude acts normal, we might have been to 2 Eastern Conference Finals, or at least 1. We probably would have been the first seed last year, but we weren't. And this year, everything is happening is a chain reaction to what he's done. And I've watched him try to like find ways to put it on Nash. Nash, oh my God, we'll talk about Nash later. But I loved Nash's performance after the game today. It shows why he should be the coach. But they put it on Nash. They put it on Harden. Like, they're even starting to talk about Sean Marks because they love this dude Kyrie so much that they would tell you you're crazy.
You know what it is, Eves? It's like following the Giants. It's never Daniel Jones's fault. It's the offensive line's fault.
Right.
It's not Daniel Jones's fault. It's the coach. It's Jason Garrett. He had
the wide receiver talent.
He had a bad offensive coordinator. He had a bad offensive, and while these things are true, it's got. And I've done this with you myself, where I you know me, I'm not a big Nash fan. I'm not gonna back up on that, and I'm not happy with the way Harden is playing, and I won't back up on that. But do these things matter if Kyrie Irving is playing Tuesday night in Brooklyn? They don't.
It's like it's not. They're not dealing with it from the most simple thing. And I said, I did a tweet today, and I was like, the algorithm for this is simple, right? It's the math is not complicated math. If Nash coaches better, what are the chances that we're in first place? I say 0 to none. If
0,
right? Like if he just because he's like a rah coach, our record is not better because of that. If Nash is, if not Nash,